Hello, everyone! Sejam bem-vindos ao primeiro episódio do Podenglish, o mais novo quadro do canal. Aqui quem fala é o Teacher Fábio, e eu vou embarcar nessa jornada com vocês. Como este é o nosso episódio de estreia, deixa eu contar rapidinho sobre o que vai rolar por aqui. Bom, este podcast é para você que quer treinar o seu inglês, especialmente o listening. A ideia aqui é bater um papo leve e descontraído sobre o dia a dia, curiosidades ou até mesmo alguma notícia interessante. E o melhor de tudo? Tudo será 100% em inglês. Mas não se preocupe, iremos legendar todos os nossos episódios. Mas é claro, legenda em inglês. A intenção é falar em um ritmo mais tranquilo, sem correria, para que você consiga entender tudo direitinho. Então, vamos começar? Como este é o primeiro episódio, nada mais justo do que falar um pouquinho sobre mim, Teacher Fábio. Alright. As I mentioned earlier, my name is Fabio. Nice to meet you. I'm 33 years old, married, and I don't have kids yet. I graduated in mathematics about 8 years ago, and I teach middle and high school students. I chose this career because I was always good at math and physics in school. Since I had a natural talent for it, I decided to follow the exact sciences path. But we'll talk more about that later. First, let me finish introducing myself. I was born in a small town in São Paulo state called Guaratinguetá. Today, I don't live there anymore. I passed a teaching exam in another city, so I moved. Now, let me share a little bit about my daily routine. I usually wake up early, around 6 a.m. Sometimes, when I need to grade tests, I wake up even earlier, around 5 a.m. But normally, 6 a.m. is my standard time. I get up, make coffee, and set the table before waking up my wife. She also wakes up early because she works near our home, in a well-known bakery in our neighborhood. We have a habit of having breakfast together every morning. We usually eat sweet bread, or milk bread as it's called in some places, with butter and coffee. My wife doesn't drink coffee, so I'm the only one who enjoys this amazing drink. We also eat polvillo biscuits, and sometimes cake. After breakfast, my wife leaves first. I stay home for about 20 more minutes. Just enough time to play with our dog, Joni. He's a super cute Maltese. During that time, I also make the bed, tidy up the house a bit, and give Joni his food and water. Only then do I leave for work. Some days before heading to school, I stop at the gas station to fill up the car. I usually do this at least twice a week. When I get to school, I like to chat with the other teachers. We talk about how our night went, discuss soccer, or chat about an interesting news story. When the bell rings, I rush to my classroom. I don't know about you, but when I was a student, it was the teachers who moved from class to class. In the school where I teach, the students are the ones who switch rooms. I think it's different, but interesting. It helps them wake up a little. At the end of the day, I'm usually one of the first teachers to leave. I don't know why everyone else takes so long. I head straight to the bakery to buy some bread for an afternoon coffee with my wife. My routine varies a little. Some days, after school, I go to the supermarket for weekly groceries. Other times, I stay late grading tests or talking to students who need extra help. Well, that was a quick summary of my daily routine. Now, let's talk about this channel. Alright, now let's talk a little bit about how I ended up on this channel. You're probably used to watching lessons from my namesake, Teacher Fabio. That's right, the owner of this channel is also named Fabio. And by the way, He has been creating a series of lessons about how he learned English, and they're a huge success. If you want to learn English, his lessons can really make a difference. For those of you with a sharp ear, you may have noticed that I have a British accent. I've studied English for most of my life, and, in a way, I'm still studying it today. I learned the language at a school that taught British English, which is why I have this accent. Over time, it became a key part of how I speak and communicate in English. I've known teacher Fabio for about 7 years. He wasn't my teacher, but we met at an English course and have built a great friendship ever since. We often talk about different topics and share our experiences with language learning. When he decided to start a YouTube channel to teach English, I fully supported him, because if there's one thing he truly loves, it's teaching. Whether it's English or any other subject, teaching is his passion. Because we've known each other for so long, he messaged me about 2 weeks ago and invited me to be part of the channel. He wanted me to create a segment where I talk about different topics so the audience could get used to another accent, specifically the British accent. His goal was to provide a more complete learning experience by exposing students to different pronunciations and intonations. I immediately said yes. But at first, I had no idea what I would talk about in my segment. My daily routine is quite busy, so uploading content every day would be difficult. Plus, I wanted my content to be truly useful for viewers, something that would help them learn English in an engaging and natural way. After some brainstorming, we came up with the idea of creating podcast-style videos. This way, I could take on this project and bring new content to the channel at least every 15 days. The plan is to have casual conversations on a variety of topics, always focusing on improving your listening skills. You've probably noticed that when you interact with a native speaker, it can be really difficult to understand what they're saying at first. Not only do they speak quickly, but they also use a lot of idioms and slang that you don't typically learn in English courses. The truth is, you can only pick up on these expressions through practice and frequent exposure to the language. So, that's the plan. Every 2 weeks, I'll be here with you, discussing 2 or 3 different topics and bringing you valuable content for your learning journey. I hope you enjoy this new segment and that it helps you improve your listening skills. Now that you already know a little more about how this segment came about, I want to take the last few minutes to share some practical tips that can help you improve your listening skills in your daily life. A lot of people ask me, how can I better understand spoken English? The truth is that learning to listen well in a language takes time and practice, but there are ways to make this process easier and even fun. If you want to understand English better, you need to listen to it constantly. This means watching series, movies, and YouTube videos in English whenever you can. But how can you do this efficiently? Start with subtitles in Portuguese to understand the context. Then, switch to English subtitles to associate sounds with written words. Finally, try watching without subtitles, even if you don't understand everything. Your brain will naturally get used to the sounds and rhythm of the language. If you like a particular movie or TV episode, a great technique is to watch it more than once. By the second or third time, you'll already have a grasp of the story, and will be able to focus more on pronunciation and expressions used. One of the best ways to improve listening skills is by listening to podcasts and audiobooks. The great thing about these formats is that you can listen while doing other activities, like driving, washing the dishes, or commuting to work. If you're not in the habit of listening to podcasts yet, Start with something simpler, like short audios on topics that interest you. And if the podcast is too fast, try slowing it down to 0.75. This can help a lot at the beginning. For those who enjoy audiobooks, an interesting tip is to choose books that you have already read in Portuguese. This makes it easier to understand the story and allows you to focus more on pronunciation and vocabulary. Besides listening, an amazing way to learn is to repeat phrases you hear. This technique, known as shadowing, consists of listening to an audio segment and then trying to repeat it right after, mimicking the rhythm and intonation of a native speaker. If you're watching a movie or series, pause at short sentences and try to repeat them out loud. It may feel strange at first, but over time, this improves not only your listening comprehension, but also your pronunciation. One of the challenges in listening comprehension is that native speakers tend to connect words when they speak quickly. For example, instead of saying, "What do you want?" in a slow, clear way, a native speaker might say something like, "What do you want?" This happens all the time in spoken English, so paying attention to these patterns will help you understand much more than just studying isolated words. At first, it may be frustrating not to understand everything a native speaker says, but this is completely normal. The key is to keep practicing every day, even if it's just for 10 or 15 minutes. Constant exposure to spoken English is what truly makes the difference. So, don't get discouraged if it seems difficult at first. Over time, your ears will adjust, and you'll notice that you're understanding more and more. And now, tell me, what did you think of this video format? Was I speaking too fast, or was it easy to understand? I really want to hear your feedback, so leave a comment down below. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, take a moment now to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Oh, and if this content helped you in any way, don't forget to leave a like. This really helps the channel grow and continue bringing more content for you. See you in the next video. See you soon.